When she was in Colombia, she said that every 4 years when the World Cup would happen, her country would stop. She grew up there when it was a pretty violent time. And she said there would be these guerrilla fighters and their captives and police officers just stopped, all shoulder to shoulder, watching the game. For 90 minutes, like our country would be at peace. It is a unifying sport. And really, unlike any other sport, I think that we really see. Gosh, if we can really even unite the church as well around a place where people are already gathering, like we want to be there.
What's up, amigos? Today we're going to be talking to Heather Reddy about Victory Beyond the Cup. If you don't know, the World Cup 2026, it's happening in Mexico, in the US, and Canada. And to me, it's a dream come true. I was in Mexico in 1986 when it was happening. Then I saw it on TV when it happened in the US in 1994. It was spectacular. I love soccer. I love the World Cup. It's probably my favorite event in the world, even more than the Olympics. I'm sorry, Olympic people, but Heather is with Crew. She's a chaplain for soccer's, the women's national team in the US. So, I mean, she loves soccer too. Some of her family members are into soccer. So she knows everything soccer. And we're going to kick it off with, first of all, thank you, Heather, for being on the show. How's it going? How are you?
Yeah, thanks so much. No, I'm so excited to be here and to talk soccer with you. I mean, as you said, like our family loves soccer a lot. And so this is fun, and like just to be able to have this conversation and get to share about what God is doing through Victory Beyond the Cup.
Awesome. Okay, I love it. Victory Beyond the Cup is part of Crew. Crew is a missionary organization here in the US, or I guess global. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say I was part of Crew. It's kind of dear to me because me and my wife were doing Crew outreaches to our local high school here in Costa Mesa. And that was really awesome. And I would say it was probably one of the very first times when my wife, Millie, felt like, wow, I can use my voice to share what God's doing in my life. And it really meant a lot to her, and possibly even maybe a stepping stone into podcasting, because now she's a full-on podcaster. She loves giving her opinion on the channel and everything. But yeah, this is Crew, and this is the organization you are in connection with. So tell us a little bit about, what is Victory Beyond the Cup and what you guys are doing.
Yeah, well, as you said, there's like 5 billion people will be watching the World Cup, which is massive when you think about the amount of people that will be stopped, for 5 weeks in the summer to watch all of these games, the largest tournament they've had. And as we thought about it, we really were, and we knew that it was coming to North America. We're like, we need to do something about this. Like we need to, and the question really was, well, what are we going to do? And as we kind of we started thinking about it and praying about it, it really felt like the Lord was leading us to say, what would it look like to equip believers and churches to have spiritual conversations in their home around the World Cup? Because we really wanted to just utilize the moment. The World Cup is massive. And so what a great time to gather people. But then really, it's like we want to train and equip people in how to share their faith. And so they've now utilized this moment, but now for the rest of their life, they know how to have these, they know how to have spiritual conversations, faith conversations. And so really the goal is to equip people through kits. So we have digital kits that are available in English, Spanish, French, and Portuguese. And those are just tools to use to help you kind of start those conversations. And I think the fun part about it is it's a watch party. And so you get to welcome people into your home, which is such a gift. I mean, it really is to welcome people into your home. And sometimes for the first time, and that might be this faith step that you're taking in this whole campaign, is it might just be you're saying, hey, come on over to my house. And you've never had them over to your house. And so that is an incredible step of faith. And then for others, it might be, we've known each other for a while, but we're going to I want to kind of bridge that gap of having a faith conversation. And so we have tools that help and videos that help you kind of bridge that gap to have that faith conversation or gospel conversation. And so it really is about, honestly, loving your neighbor and then expecting to see what God's going to do when you trust him with those relationships.
Wow, that's cool. So is it open to, let's say, the public, or is it people that are already participating with Crew? Or like me, I love soccer. Am I going to be able to get a kit and invite some people and watch it? How is that? That's pretty cool. But how is that maybe the dynamics behind getting a kit?
Yeah, so you don't have to be, and this is the great thing about it. It really is created for anybody. So you don't have to be in full-time ministry. You don't have to be a church leader. Like you can just be the person who's sitting there and you're like, I love soccer. I love people. And I want to take this opportunity to have people over and see what the Lord does with that. And so you can go ahead and download the digital kit on the website, and that's free. And so from there, there's like invitation templates, there's soccer bingo, there's conversation guides, and we have tons of resources on the website, like training videos. And there's a recipe book too from all the recipes that are in all the countries that are in the World Cup has a recipe
Wow.
that goes along with that. Because the thing is even, I'm guessing that your viewers, not everybody like loves soccer. And so we're like, hey, you might not love soccer, but do you love cooking, or do you love to have a meal with people? So cook a meal and invite them over and throw in the game and just enjoy the company and, be intentional with those conversations.
Yeah. I wonder what's the recipe for like the Mexican recipe. Is it like tortillas with little shredded meat and lime, also known as tacos?
Well, what's funny is that so there is there is a physical book that you can purchase. And so I'm like, I'm going to Poblano.
Chile poblano? Mole
Yeah.
poblano. Okay.
Yeah. That was the recipe. That was in there.
I love it.
So
that's cool. Wow. Mole poblano. Yeah. People got to try that. It's really yummy. It tends to be spicy, but there's a version you can make that's not super spicy. Wow. That's really cool. People are going to love it. So there's a little bit for everybody. If you don't love soccer, but you love people, this is a great tool. And I love that. I feel like soccer is, or actually football, let's call it football, the real football that you play with your feet. It's so cool. I mean, it's so cool. I remember in 1986, I was a little kid. And I remember the entire streets in my city, Guadalajara, were packed with people from all over the world. And I remember back in the days, Brazil was really dear for the Mexican people, so everybody wanted to see Brazil win. And we went to a hotel and we see all the Brazilian players come out, and some of them maybe were giving autographs and stuff like that. It was a festival. And ever since, I feel like, wow, it's just how much passion and excitement something like the World Cup can bring, but it also it feels very unifying. I know that people are cheering for their own team, and there are sad moments where your team gets kicked out because they lost or whatever, but there's a beauty in the festivity side, or no. But anyways, all that to say, I know it wasn't that big in 1994. But how have you seen maybe soccer evolve, from in the US as you have grown and now have kids involved in that? And I don't know, maybe some anecdotes about soccer growing on you, things like that. And maybe people coming together because of football.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. So when in 94, I don't remember how old I was playing on a soccer team because I grew up playing soccer as well. And our team was actually asked to be in the opening ceremonies for one of the games in Orlando. And so that was my fun fact is I was in the opening ceremonies for the World Cup in 94, which is so fun. Cool. And so, but it's been interesting to see soccer grow, I would say, in interest in the United States. And I think it's continued to grow. And you see kind of these waves and and I think the World Cup even coming now to North America will continue, that wave is going to continue to get bigger. And you've seen it a lot in the youth space because it's just such an easy game to play. I mean, that's what we love about it. And that's really why I feel to your point of it is such a unifying experience, the World Cup, because football is one of those things that you take an actual football to any country, and within 5 minutes, you can have a game going. And you don't have to speak the language. You just get out there and play. That's one of the things we've loved, even as a family, doing is we partner with a church in Spain, and we go over there and we do English and sports and soccer camps there. And we can just we know no matter where we are, we bring a soccer ball with us, and we're going to get into some great conversations because it's one of the universal languages of you get to go and you get to build relationships that way. And so it has been so fun to be able to see just the growth of soccer. And I would say, even in the women's game, I've seen it in incredible ways, especially in the past just decade, of where you've just seen the women's game explode across the world, really. And so I'm excited to see what that will look like after the World Cup, to see what happens. Just, I think we'll see more kids get involved and things like that. But, the other thing that made me think of is I was talking to one of the people who's involved with Victory Beyond the Cup. She is kind of going to be the outreach coordinator for her church, and their church had ordered a bunch of kits, and she was sharing with me that she grew up in Colombia. And she said when she was in Colombia, she said that every 4 years when the World Cup would happen, she's like, her country would stop. And she said she grew up there when it was a pretty violent time. And, and she said there'd be these guerrilla fighters and their captives, and police officers just stopped all shoulder to shoulder watching the game. And she said for 90 minutes, like, our country would be at peace. And so you see this like incredible thing that, like, to your point, it is a unifying sport, and really unlike any other sport, I think, that we really see. And so I think that's why, as we thought about this, and also just because I love the game, I was like, gosh, if we can really even unite the church as well around a place where people are already gathering, like, we want to be there. And so that's even the hope too, is really, and we've seen that, like, we've seen God bring churches and ministries together. I mean, we have incredible ministry who are partnering with us in this, like FCA, Palau Ministry, Upward Sports, Alpha, Convoy of Hope. I mean, the list goes on of just all these ministries who've said, let's do this together. Like, we don't need to be separate. Like, let's go after this together. And I think that's what's been so fun, is to see, the sport bring unity within the church as well.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, imagine like people coming together to share the good news during one of the events that brings people together by default. I mean, that's awesome. That the church can be unified. And that's a great example. If I have one thing against soccer, and then we're going to debate this a little bit, because this is the idea I had behind it. Like, who's going to go to the World Cup to minister to people if the tickets are so expensive? I mean, unless you go watch like a lesser category game, maybe, right? But these tickets are stratospheric. But all that to say, I feel like, okay, they're doing something good, because now they're selling these tickets for like however much they're doing, like, think over $1,000 for one ticket. Does that alter maybe who you want to minister to? Is it just going to be, like rich people you can actually minister to if you go to the World Cup and say, hey, do you know Jesus? Or is it, because I kind of like grew up thinking soccer was kind of like you said, the game for everybody, where everybody can play soccer with just we used to play with this little drinking little bottles, kind of like a water bottle of plastic. That was our ball, when we were little, and that was soccer to us, or football. So I feel like, I don't know, like, how do you see that? Or are you addressing that as Victory Beyond the Cup? Do you have any feelings towards that? Or what's your assessment?
Yeah, I mean, you're correct. The prices are astronomical. And so, which is why actually the whole strategy of Victory Beyond the Cup is great, because you don't have to go to a game. Like, you don't actually have to, to go to a game. The whole point is to actually welcome people into your home, is to host a watch party in your home. So in some ways, I'm like, which it is unfortunate, because we would love to go to a game, but we currently are not going to any games this year. But we're just saying for the Victory Beyond the Cup, we're like, well, then invite people in, and you get to host a massive watch party, because that's where people are going to be watching now, is in the home. And so yeah, there are, in the host cities, I would say that there are a lot of host cities that we're seeing a lot of churches join together to do to do even just create mini fan zones, or to do some outreaches there. And so it'll be interesting, because I'm curious of, if people aren't going to be at the games, they're going to be watching it somewhere. And so why not your house? Why not the church? Why not your ministry? And I think that's what provides a great opportunity, is that you get to, actually an opportunity, an unfortunate one, because everybody would love to go to the game, but it is an opportunity that we get to take advantage of.
Yeah, that's great. Great strategy. So what I also saw that they're doing in Mexico, there's this, well, it's called Cinepolis, which is a movie brand. Like they have theaters, and what they're doing is they're renting out the entire screens to watch games live, so people can purchase tickets and go watch games live. So I'm like, wow, like even the Mexican mind is like, okay, tickets are expensive, let's bring people and watch them at the movies. Yep. Right, so it's cool. So in a sense, I guess the high prices make for just strategic use, or maybe what do you say, an opportunity. Right, it creates opportunity. So that's really cool. Okay, so let's move on to kind of like my last topic that I had when you were saying, you're part of the chaplaincy with the national women's team of soccer. That's really interesting. Would you maybe tell me a little bit about what that ministry is like? And especially I'm interested because, like I was saying before we started recording, there's a girl that comes here and records a podcast for a different ministry, but she's involved with Angel City, which is kind of like the female version of LAFC, the soccer club here in Los Angeles. And she's a chaplain to this team. And I was saying, wow, you're really good at podcasting. You should have your podcast. And she's like, well, I'm a little hesitant because, like I was saying also before recording, podcasting is a lot about like giving your opinion. And she's like, I feel like if I'm going to minister to people, I don't want them to have a perception of me based on like my opinion that they can see on social media. And it's like, it's not like I can't have an opinion on things, even like political or, societal issues, but my heart is to minister to people. So what have you experienced in your role as in your chaplaincy? Is it really like that? Like, how do you approach it? Maybe, I don't know, some stories that you have, I don't know, anecdotes about how you have been able to minister to people in this role?
Yeah, I mean, chaplaincy is really, as you think about it, it's really just journeying with people. Like it's really walking alongside people. And it really is like we come in and we are there for the entire club, every single person in that club, from every player to every staff member, any person in that building, is we just want to be a safe place for people to come and know that they're going to be cared for. They're going to be listened to. They're going to be heard. A lot of those places are they're tricky to navigate. It's complicated and it's high pressure high pressure environments. And as anything, it's like whenever you're asked to perform, it just adds a layer of it can not all the time, but it can just add this layer of pressure that you feel really intensely. And so needing, a safe place to kind of process that, or just process life as you're trying to figure out, what about, how does this all go together? And, I'm in this pro space and what does that look like? And so I think it's really, I would say the biggest thing is like, we just want to be a safe place. And that's often what we do is, for these players and these, to just come and be good listeners. Like that's what we want to do, and ask good questions. Like that's part of it is, it's, what does it look like to help, help people think through, like, I just think like the big thing we kind of talk about is is just as identity in the terms of like because it's so easy when you're in a performance and this could be in any job, like this could be a job too, is that we often base our performance on our success and failures. And so when you do that, when you ride that wave, like that's exhausting and tiring. And so it's needing to ground yourself, in something. And as a believer, I can say, I'm grounding myself in Jesus, that my identity is found in him. And so we have a lot of conversations on that, because that performance mindset is like so powerful and it gets you so far, which is why they're in those, in those positions, because they're able to do things that nobody else can do. Very few people can do, but with anything, there's a shadow side to any of that. And that shadow side can be the way you feel about yourself or the way you view yourself, your value and worth really is linked to how you perform. And so it's just reminding, it's like, you have to take, you're still going hard after that, but that your value and worth is not found in your performance. It's found in God, and that you are loved by him. So that's one of the big things that we really, talk about.
Love it. Wow. That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. So I'm going to show you my emojis. We're going to walk through the emojis, but first, to kind of like wrap the episode, tell us about like where people can find Victory Beyond the Cup or more information or get involved.
Yeah. So you can go to victorybeyondthecup.com. You can check out the website. And on there, you can, like I said, you can go ahead and order. There's those digital kits that are available. And then there's also a resource page that has, it has coloring pages. It has, if you have teenagers or youth, like there's resources for you. There's, if you want to put on a soccer camp, like we really have tried to think through like all the elements. There's pastor's kit. We've actually had 67,000 pastors download the pastor's kit. We currently have like 124,000 people who have been involved so far, and just since we've launched. And so we've really seen just, again, God bringing people together in incredible ways. And so, but check out victorybeyondthecup.com and you can find all the resources there.
Cool.
And check out our socials too. Victory Beyond the Cup.
Awesome. Perfect. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So these are the emojis. I call it from blasphemous to divine. Okay. So it's from the worst idea to the best idea. You can take it wherever you want. It just has to be soccer related.
Oh, this is amazing. I was like, okay, I'm trying to think the blasphemous one is a little bit like that one's like throwing me. I'm like, gosh, what would be? I might agree with you though on the, but it's so weird. Like the ticket price thing is like there, and only because why I would consider that blasphemous is because of what we were talking about earlier is the World Cup is for everybody. Like that's the whole point, is that like it really, and if you go and you hear professional coaches and players, like players are like, it is for the people. Like it's not for, it is for everybody. And I think it is unfortunate that I'm like, gosh, it really, it's pricing people out that would just love to go to experience. Like there's nothing like being in that stadium and seeing all of these fans, even if it's not your country, but just the unity. It is electric. So I think that would be the blasphemous one.
Yes.
For sure. And then skeptical. Okay, so skeptical, this is where I think, when I think about what came to mind immediately was what people think about sharing their faith. It's like, and especially then around like the World Cup, it's like, and if you're thinking about hosting a watch party, I think people could be like, oh, I don't know, like, am I going to be weird? Am I going to come off awkward? And be honest, you might, like there's a reality. Like if that was easy, then I think we'd all be sharing our faith all the time. And so I just think it's like, oh, could I really do that? And so I think skeptical of like, could I use this opportunity to actually jump in and talk to my friends and family and coworkers and teammates about Jesus? So I think that would be the skeptical one.
Love it. Inspired.
Inspired. Well, this is what's amazing is that we have the Holy Spirit living inside of us. And so we can step into those conversations confidently, because I just think the Lord gives us the words. He opens the door and we just have to be faithful to walk through it. And I just think like it is, and I think like, especially like around the World Cup, like this is an opportunity that people are already wanting to gather. And so what would it look like to trust the Lord, to pray for those people and trust that He's going to work, and knowing that you have the Holy Spirit living inside of you, and so you can have those conversations and get to see what God's going to do.
Love it. Let's see what you come up with in holy. What's a holy idea?
A holy idea. I think probably the one thing, or not one, not the one thing. One of the things though is, I just think prayer. Like when I think about even just this, even as the World Cup is coming, it's like an invitation for us to step in as believers in churches and be praying, because there's a lot going on. And you just think of like, even all the nations that, that are people that are trying to come, and what people are experiencing all over the, the US. And I think this is an opportunity for us to step in and pray. Just that this would be an opportunity for you to see unity across the church. But I think even just being intentional and praying for the people God's put in your life, like in Victory Beyond the Cup, we talk about the 5, like who are the 5 people that you have in your life that you want to intentionally be praying for. And so I just want to challenge us to like, for the, every day of the World Cup, it's like, be praying for those 5. And then I think let's be expectant that God's going to do something.
Love it. And the last one is divine. idea? What's the highest thing you can think of?
The highest thing, man. I just think oh man, your music is like making me emotional.
Yeah, that's the goal.
I know. I was like, so what it comes to mind is just, and what we have seen God do in this because this project it's been going for 4 years. Like I've been working on it for almost 4 years, and to see churches and talk to pastors who are just so excited to mobilize and equip their congregation. And I just think about like when this World Cup starts, that there's going to be thousands of people across North America who are praying and who are being intentional to share their faith. And I'm like, what a beautiful picture that is, that we get to step into, that all of us do. And just thinking about like, you could be one of those hundreds of thousands that, that's taking that step of faith and sharing, by sharing their faith during the World Cup. And I just think what I've seen God do is just bring these like ministries together, churches together that really want to go after it, like linking arms. And I just think that is like what we are called to as believers. That's what the body, as believers, like what we're called to is like, we want to be the body of Christ that comes together and loves people well. And that's really what Victory Beyond the Cup is. So, yeah.
Love it. Perfecto. What is your favorite soccer player, woman or man of all time?
Oh gosh, of all time? Oh,
yeah.
So
I'm thinking like of mine, that's why.
I'm like the last person. So my 8-year-old plays this game with me all the time in the car, and he's like, guess the soccer player. And he makes me like guess the soccer player based on the team, the position. And I'm awful at it. Awful. And so I'm like, gosh, my favorite player of all time. Oh, probably when it was like Mia Hamm. Like that was because that's who I grew up watching. And she was just that phenomenal player. I mean, phenomenal. Owned the field, like was really, yeah. And we're equal opportunity. We just enjoy watching the game. So
love it. Okay, well, thank you so much. There you have it, my friends. Go visit Victory Beyond the Cup. Share your faith during the World Cup and beyond. Just do it. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Visit us at christianpodcast.com. Thank you so much. Maybe leave us a positive review, a comment down below. Tell us your favorite soccer player. We'll see you.